Irene and friends. My name is Lisa from grade 9D, absent number 19. Today, I will tell a fairy tale entitled Cinderella. Once upon a time, there was a gentleman who married for his second wife, the proudest and most haughty woman that ever was seen. She had two daughters of her own, who were indeed exactly like her in all things. The gentleman had also a young daughter, of rare goodness and sweetness of temper, which she took from her mother, who was the best creator in the world. Once upon a time, there was a gentleman who married for his second wife, the proudest and most haughty woman that ever was seen. She had two daughters of her own, who were indeed exactly like her in all things. The gentleman had also a young daughter, of rare goodness and sweetness of temper, which she took from her mother, who was the best creator in the world. The wedding was scarcely over when the stepmother's bad temper began to show itself. She could not bear the goodness of this young girl, because it made her own daughter's efforts the more odious. The stepmother gave her the men's work in the house to do. She had to scour the dishes, tables, edge, and to scrub the floors and clean out the bedrooms. The poor girl had to sleep in the garret, upon the wretched straw bed, while her sisters lay in fine rooms, with inlaid floors, upon beds of the very newest fashion, and where they had looking glasses so large that they might see themselves at their full age. The poor girl bore it patiently and dared not complain to her father, who would have scolded her if she had done so, for his wife governed him entirely. When she had done her work, she used to go into the chimney corner and sit down among the cinders. Hence, she was called Cinderwitch, the younger sister of the two, who was not so rude and uncivil as the elder called her Cinderella. However, Cinderella, in spite of her man apparel, was 100 times more handsome than her sister. Truth, they were always richly dressed. It happened that the king's son gave a ball and invited to it all persons of fashion. Our young misses were also invited, for they got a very great figure among the people of the countryside. They were highly delighted with the invitation, and wonderfully busy in choosing the gowns, petticoats, and head dresses which might best become them. This made Cinderella's lot still harder, for it was she who ruined her sisters' linen and plaited their ruffles. They talked all day long of nothing but how they should be dressed. For my part, said the elder, I will wear my red velvet suit with French trimmings. And I, said the younger, shall wear my usual skirt, but then to make amends. For that I will put on my gold flowered mantle and my diamonds stomacher, which is far from being the most ordinary one in the world. They sent for the best hairdressers they could get to make up their hair in fashionable style and brought patches for their cheeks. Cinderella was consulted in all these matters, for she had got good taste. She advised them always for the best and even offered her service to dress their hair, which they were very willing she should do. As she was doing this, they said to her, Cinderella, won't you not be glad to go to the ball? Young ladies, she said, you only jeer at me. It is not for such as I am to go there. You're right, they replied. People would lodge to see a Cinderella at a ball. Anyone but Cinderella would have dressed their hair awry, but she was good-natured and arranged it perfectly well. They were almost to days without eating, so much were they transported with joy. They broke above dozen ledges in trying to lift themselves tight that they might have a fine, slender shape, and they were continually at their looking glass. The happy day came, they went to court, and Cinderella followed them with her eyes as long as she could, and when she had lost of them, she fell a crying. Her godmother, who saw her all intense, asked her what the matter. I wish I could, but she could not finish for sobbing. Her godmother, who was a fairy, said to her, You wish you could go to the ball. Is it not so? Alas, yes, said Cinderella, sighed he. Well, said her godmother, be but a good girl, and I will see that you go. Then she took her into her chamber and said to her, Run into the garden and bring me a pumpkin. Cinderella went at once to gather the finest she could get and brought it to her godmother, not being able to imagine how this pumpkin could help her to go to the ball. Her godmother scooped out all the inside of it, leaving nothing but the rind. Then she struck it with her wand, and the pumpkin was instantly turned into a fine gilded coach. She then went to look into the mouse trap, where she found 6 mice all alive. She ordered Cinderella to leave the trap door when giving each mouse. As it went out, a little tap with her wand. It was that moment turned into a fine horse, and the 6 mice made a fine set of 6 horses of a beautiful mouse-colored disciple grey. Being at a loss of coachman, Cinderella said, "I will go and see if there is not a rat in the rat trap. We may make a coachman of him." "You're right," replied her godmother. "Go and look." Cinderella brought the rat trap to her, and in there were 3 hatched rats. The fairy chose the one which had the large beard, and having touched him with her wand, he was turned into a fat coachman, with the finest moustache and whiskers ever seen. After that, she said to her, "Go into the garden, and you will find 6 lizards behind the watering pot. Bring them to me." She had no sooner done so than her godmother turned them into 6 footmen, who skipped up immediately behind the coach with their liveries trimmed with gold and silver, and they held on as if they had done nothing else their whole lives. The fairy then said to Cinderella, "Well, you see her carriage fit to go to the ball in. Are you not pleased with it?" "Oh yes," she cried, "but must I go as I am in the death ranks?" Her godmother simply touched her with her wand, and at the same moment her clothes were turned into cloth of gold and silver, all decked with jewels. This done, she gave her a pair of the prettiest glass slippers in the whole world. Being thus attired, she got into the carriage, her grandmother commending her above all things not to stay ill after my night, and telling her at the same time that if she stayed 1 moment longer, the coach will be a pumpkin again. Her horse mice, her coachman a rat, her footman lizard, and her clothes would become just as they were before. She promised her grandmother she would not fail to leave the ball before midnight. She drove away, scarce able to contain herself for joy. The king's son, who was that great prince whom nobody knows, was gone. Ran out the reverse her, we gave her his hand, and she alighted from the coach, and led her into the hall where the company were assembled. There was at once a profound silence. Every one left off dancing, and the violins ceased to play. To attracted was a fairy won by the singular beauties of the unknown newcomer. Nothing was then heard but a confusion sounds of voices saying, "Ha! How beautiful she is! Ha! How beautiful she is!" The king himself, although he could not keep his eyes off her, and he told the queen under his breath that it was a long time since he had seen so beautiful and lovely creature. All the ladies were busy tidying her clothes and her dress, so that they might have their maid the next day, after the partner provided they could made with such fine materials and able hands to make them. The king's sons conducted her to the seat of honor and afterwards took her out to dance with him. She danced so very gratefully that they all admired her more and more. A fine collection of silver, but the young prince ate not a morsel. So intently was she occupied with her. She went and sat down beside her sisters, showing them 1,000 city tiles, and giving them, among other things, part of the orange and citrons with which the prince had regaled her. This very much surprised them, for they had not been presented to her. Cinderella heard the clock strike 11:45. She at once made her adieux to the company and hasted away as fast as she could. As soon as they got home, she ran to find her godmother, and after having thanked her, she said she much wishes she might go to the ball next day, because the king's son had asked her to do so. So, as she was eagerly telling her godmother all that happened at the ball, her two sisters knocked at the door. "Cinderella, open it. How long you have stayed?" said she, yawning, rubbing her eye, and stretching herself as if she had been just awakened. She had not, however, had any desire to sleep since they went from home. "If you had been at the ball," said one of her sisters, "you would not have been tired with it." There came thither the finest princess, the most beautiful ever was seen with mortal eyes. She showed us 1,000 sheafly ties and gave us orange and citron.